If you're a guy and you go to the emergency room for a broken leg, you are not a real man. If you're a guy and you get surgery for a torn ACL, you are not a real man. Do you hear how insane that sounds? Now apply it to men's mental health. My name's Shane Watson from silverladder.com. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Now, there's a lot of events out there. There's a lot of awareness events that are a day, a week, a month, etc. And I feel like Men's Mental Health Month falls through the cracks. A lot of people don't even realize it's been going on this month. It kind of gets lost in a lot of the rest of the social landscape. And unlike many other observances, holidays or awareness events or things like that, the target audience for Men's Mental Health Awareness Month often doesn't wholeheartedly embrace it. So many of the other demographics or groups or people for whom those observance days or weeks or months apply, they absolutely just revel in having their moment. This is our month, this is our week, this is our day. But a lot of guys shy away from any conversation related to their mental health because of myth and stigma. A lot of guys are very afraid societally that they're going to be judged if they say that they're struggling with anxiety or depression or thoughts of ending their own life. And I'm going to put it in that phrase because you can't say the S word on Instagram, even in a preventative capacity like this, or they will take down your video and your visibility will be reduced. So we're going to refer to it from now on as taking your own life. There's a lot of guys that don't want to speak up about that because they are afraid that they are going to be judged as weak if they admit that they are facing mental health challenges. Now, one of the things that I think dispels that myth and that stigma and that absolute nonsense very quickly is the fact that we've seen in recent years professional athletes, professional football players, MMA professionals, hockey players, basketball, baseball, Olympians, and we have seen members of the military in recent years speak up about the challenges that they have faced regarding their own mental health, what worked for them, what kind of help they got, and how they're doing better today. And they've gone out and they've shared that, and it has benefited other people. But so many guys still refuse to talk about it, and doing so is having absolutely devastating results. According to the CDC, men are 4 times more likely than women to take their own lives, making up 80% of those who do that. 80%, 4 times more likely. And according to Mental Health America, 1 in 10 men deals with depression and/or anxiety. But are we speaking up about it? Are we asking for professional help? Or at the very least, letting our friends know, family members, siblings, trusted people know? Nearly half, over 40% of men who are facing these challenges will never speak up because they are afraid of being labeled as weak and being labeled as less of a man. The sooner that we can get rid of this complete falsehood in our society, believing these myths, letting that stigma thrive, the sooner that we can get rid of that, the sooner we are genuinely going to begin saving lives. And that's not an exaggeration to say that this is going to save lives. So what do we do about this? I have 5 brief steps for you. Number 1, educate yourself on the challenges that men face regarding mental health and what the signs and symptoms of those challenges look like. We live in an era where we now have in our pocket, at any given time during the day, an invention that allows us all of the information in the world practically at our literal fingertips. There is no excuse anymore to not know something. What the signs and symptoms of someone struggling with depression looks like, what the signs and symptoms are of someone who's thinking about ending their own life. So number 1, educate yourself. Number 2, destroy stigma and myths. Do not perpetuate this falsehood, this lie, that struggling with mental health challenges makes someone less of a man. It absolutely does not. The strongest people I know are those who have faced these kind of challenges, these fights, these battles, have walked through that fire and come out on the other side. And the strongest of those strong people are the ones that have walked back through the fire to get others who are in the midst of that struggle right now themselves. Number 3, share your experience. If you have faced a mental or behavioral health challenge, if you are in recovery from addiction, if you are the survivor of an attempt on your own life, share that. People who are currently struggling need to know that they are not alone, because when you're in the midst of that, you feel strange, you feel broken, you feel weak, you feel less than. And the more that we have men, strong men, speaking out and saying, I went through this and I know what it feels like and I know what you're dealing with. I want to listen to you. I want to hear what you have to say. The more that we have men who step up and do that, the more that we are going to change lives for the better, and literally, genuinely, not an exaggeration, we are going to save lives. Number 4, get help and encourage your friends to speak up. If you are struggling yourself, at the very least, speak to a peer, one of your buddies, one of your friends, your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your dad, a coworker, someone you trust. Better than that, seek professional help. And with this video, I'm going to include links to the blog I did about this topic, and I'm going to include links to ways that you can seek professional mental and behavioral health support. Get help. Do not fight your battles alone. Do not convince yourself that you need to fight those battles alone, because you do not. There are people who understand. Now, if you speak up to someone and they don't take you seriously, and they do fall into that trap of being like, oh, come on, man up, just suck it up, move to the next person. Don't let that ignorance convince you that you're wrong in asking for help. That has to do with that person. That doesn't have to do with you. Keep seeking help until you get the help you need. And if you're not the one that's struggling, make it clear to your friends, your guy friends, your brother, your cousin, your coworkers, your buddies. Set that example. Hey man, if you are ever dealing with something, give me a call. Send me a text. I have no issue sitting down with you and listening to what you're going through. And number 5, dads, if you have sons, set that example for your sons in how you take care of your own mental health. Begin having conversations with them at an early age about, yeah, we take care of our body and we take care of our brain too. We take care of our mind too. And sometimes I've noticed to think of it in terms of brain health rather than mental health. Because a lot of for guys, mental health sounds like this nebulous thing that's out there in the ether somewhere. It's not real. Your brain is a physiological reality. It's an item that you carry around with you everywhere. So sometimes it helps to speak about it as brain health. But dads, set that example with your sons. Show them what it's like to make your mental health a priority. And let them know from a very early age, hey man, if you are stressed, if you're scared, you're worried, you're angry, come talk to me. And if they do come talk to you, the first words out of your mouth, the first words out of our mouth should be, I really respect the fact that you came to me. That's really cool that you did that. I would rather listen to you sharing your experiences, and I'm saying this as a man to other grown men. I would rather be on the end of a telephone or sitting across from you grabbing coffee or lunch or something and listening to you vent about your struggles. I would rather do that than be giving the eulogy at your memorial. And that's a reality. If we don't speak up and if we don't encourage our guy friends to speak up, delivering that eulogy at a memorial, talking about what a great guy he was, past tense, that's reality. You know, these 5 strategies I just gave you are really simple, But simple is often good. Simple is often the best, most effective way to deal with life. And as I mentioned, I'm going to include a link to a blog where I have these things that I just said written out, maybe in a more articulate way, as well as links to getting help and seeking help. And I want to wrap it up with this. If you are seeing this and you are struggling, and you are a guy and you are hurting, and you are afraid, speak up. It does not make you less of a man. It does not make you weak or broken or flawed. Ideally, go to a professional and ask them for help. If you're not comfortable doing that, talk to a friend. And if you're not comfortable doing that, send me a message. Talk to me. Text me. Call me. Send me a DM. I will listen to you. Once again, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I think the focal point needs to be getting rid of stigma and myth. My name is Shane Watson from silverladder.com. I'm a mental health educator and consultant. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening.